Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. Shield.com.
This is your favorite go-to spot and car podcasting and live streaming. It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show today, coming to you from the fabulous Hemi Hideout in Brookshire, Texas. Just ahead, more guests from today's gathering of car folks. Plus, we'll also have Mr. Mars and the event calendar. We'll get you caught up on the stories making auto headlines this week, too. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, who cannot sit down. And we always need more Jeff Zekin, our chief engineer, David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today from the Hemi. Joining us today down at the guest hotspot would be A.J. Lupe. He's the president of the Space City Corvette Club, and since this is really kind of a Corvette takeover, we thought it would be appropriate that we talk to another Corvette club, don't you think?
I agree.
Yeah. Move that microphone a little bit closer to your mouth, sir. Thank you very much. And,
how's that?
You know, I think that the last time I saw you was a car show. Was it in the fall down in Friendswood?
Yes, sir, and you finally made good on your promise on coming out, and it meant the world just to see you out there.
Well,
thank you very much.
Thank you. How I remembered that, I don't know, but I remembered your face.
Right. Well, that's probably a good and a bad thing.
Well, so what was the name of that event?
That was the 11th annual Good Rubbing Gears Fall Car Show, and we ended up raising $100,000 for Texas
Wow.
EquiSearch that last year.
Wow, that's awesome.
So, yes,
Mars is like that bad classmate that you had that passes you notes and you get caught. Yeah, well, that's it. So there's that. Okay. Very good. Tony, we're going to get to you. Are you go by the nickname of Big Tuna? Okay. All right, so Tony, we're going to get to Tony in just a minute. But right now we're going to talk to AJ, president of Space City Corvette Club. And I have to tell you, I think when I spoke to you down there at that cruise-in, well, it was a car show in the park, which I thought was an absolutely fabulous setting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll agree with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, that is a cool setting. And the collection of cars that showed up for that thing, that's something. How long has that thing been going on down there?
So this year will be our 12th annual. That's kind of hard.
Where the hell have I been?
I don't know, but you kept promising me for years that you were going to come out.
Well, I did.
Made good on your Yep, you finally made good on your promise, and we appreciate that.
Well, and again, I was impressed. As a matter of fact, I came back, talked about it on the show here, how impressed I was, and I think that this year I'm going to try and bring my Corvette down there. Now, this is not a show car.
Right.
This is a street running car. Looks okay. It's passable. You won't be embarrassed, but, well, I may be. But
we could put you in a daily driver class. How about that?
It's not a daily driver. I will give you that.
No, definitely not.
But it's driven.
There you go.
Yeah. Just had some more Corbeau seats put in it.
Okay.
Yeah. From Pro-Am Auto Accessories. So we got
You got
that.
a Hirsch shifter. Yeah. You got new wheels. You got new tires.
Yeah. So I've been, slowly but surely trying to it's trying to keep up with the failing electronics.
Right.
The last thing is the tilt, not the tilt, but the telescoping steering.
Right.
The telescoping has failed. I am not digging into the airbag to get the steering wheel off. That ain't happening.
No, I wouldn't want to do that either.
Yeah. So I know that you're going to find me somebody that is really attuned to that.
We can take care of that, I'm sure.
I'm sure you can. So at any rate, let's talk about Space City Corvette Club. How long has that been going on?
Since it was established in 2007, and right now we have 263 members.
That 250 seems to be a good number.
It's like the sweet spot.
Yeah, because the Alamo. Have you met the Alamo guy that came in? They were here a little bit ago.
He's around here.
He's around here somewhere. Yeah. But anyway, the Alamo guys are here. They got about 250. It seems to be a good number for a club. And having been a member of a couple of clubs in my day, I will tell you that 250 is probably manageable, but it's right on the cusp of not being manageable.
Chaos.
Yeah, because, as you know, being the president of the car club, it's like wrangling cats.
Like herding cats.
Yeah.
It's a lot like work, but it's also a lot of fun.
Oh, I know. Because you all have that one common thing going on, and that's cars, and particularly the Corvettes. But there are lots of car clubs around, and I'm sure, well, as you have put on a car show down there that everybody's invited, you work with lots of car clubs.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Sure do.
And I understand that you helped wrangle not all, but a lot of the people here.
Well, so this gentleman that's sitting to the left of me, Big Tuna, who's going to be coming on here in a few minutes, about 7 years ago, we put together all the Corvettes coming out, and we had a pretty decent showing, but in 2022 we had 115 Corvettes out here, and today we had 170, so it continues to grow.
Wow.
And I think there's some Vipers out there that I think there's about 18 Vipers or so.
The Corvette wannabes?
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I better be careful. I'm going to make it out of the parking lot.
You're going to have to walk him to his car this evening.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll never forget, I drive press cars all the time. Well, when the Viper came out, they said, we're sending you a Viper. Great. I get in this thing, and it is a wild beast that has no traction control. I mean, and they put a fiberglass body on it, but they might as well just had a frame and this ginormous 10-cylinder motor in it that had 2,000 horsepower, and it was a 6-speed, had to have been a 6-speed transmission. That thing was all over the road. I mean, it was like trying to drive a funny car.
Right.
It's crazy. But I can certainly understand the attraction. I would imagine that if I were a little bit younger man, I'd have probably had that thing on its top in a ditch somewhere in a New York Minute.
Well,
but I had to control myself.
Didn't that happen in your press fleet? Somebody kind
of
had a boo-boo?
Yes, I know that person, and he's still alive, and he has that to brag about. He spun it out into an open ditch, put it on its lid. They took it back to Detroit and crushed the car. Yikes.
The rest of the way.
Yeah, the rest of the way. That's right. So does everybody have 2018 and 2022 and 2024 Corvettes?
The C8 obviously is becoming very popular. Just acquired one in January.
So you're one of those.
Yep, I'm one of those. Had to sell a few to make room for it, but I got to tell you, Chevy nailed it on that C8.
Yeah, I know.
They really did.
Yeah, I'm jealous, actually.
Well, how many do you have now?
So I had to sell 3, so I'm down to the 2024, the 96, and a 72.
What is the oldest year in your club?
It's a 1953 production number 32.
Wow.
It's been on American Sports Car Magazine. The previous owner was the owner of the San Diego Padres. It's been signed by Zora Arcus Duntoff under the hood. Last year at Tri-City, it won Best of Paint by Ryan Evans of Counts Customs. And if I remember right, I think you guys were out there in Beaumont, if I remember correctly. Maybe not. But it was quite an honor, I think.
You're asking me to remember something.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, forget that.
Yeah, forgive me.
It's all right.
Well, that's cool.
It's interesting. I saw Corvette number 3, and I've only seen it once. And it was at the Corvette Expo at the at the Albert Thomas Convention Center in downtown Houston. Not too many people remember that because it goes back to about the turn of the century. But at any rate, it was there, and it was number 3. And I had no clue. It was a fiberglass car, clearly. But I had no clue how bad the paint job on was. Because you can see the fiberglass beneath the paint.
Yeah. Yep.
And to be able to paint a car and keep, now this was the all original, to keep a car that you could still see the fiberglass underneath the paint is truly amazing.
That's what Ryan Evans with Counts Customs had mentioned. He said that the paint job on that car was not necessarily the best paint job there, but the paint job that was on that car was unbelievable because the way they laid the fiberglass, it was cloth fiberglass. It was very difficult to get a decent finish. And this car, it's
because you get the texture of the fiberglass coming out.
Well, I don't think that they gel coated them back then, and so you could see. Thank you so much. Is this the vodka that you promised?
I ordered the martini. Is that coming down there?
It's headed your way after
okay,
I get done with my share of it. But it's truly amazing to see that car. And, you look at that first production run, 300 would have been in that first production run.
That's correct.
And I believe that car was built in Flint, Michigan, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
That was before they opened the Corvette factory in St. Louis. and very primitive, and nothing fit. It was, of course, at the time. Put your mind back to 1953. I don't think I even had a mind in 1953.
I was building a spine.
Yeah, building a spine. But that was really cutting edge, and they were trying to compete against European cars of the time. And to see that car in person, you go, wow, for an American car from 1953 built out of fiberglass that had a 2-speed transmission in it, and it was primitive.
Oh, yeah.
But it was also cutting edge. Nobody had ever seen anything like it before. And it's truly amazing to see the technology and all the brain power that went behind that. I also saw a C1 Corvette that was owned by Ken Lingenfelter and his brother John, who I did the interview with. And John Lingenfelter had a C1, and it was a I want to say it was a 55 model that a supplier to Corvette Chevrolet wanted to supercharge the 235 Blue Flame 6 that was in it.
Wow.
As opposed to putting the V8 motor in it, which they ultimately did. But this was a one-off, and it was a car that went down the assembly line, the difference being that they put a supercharger on it, and to see all that fit under the hood of that Blue Flame 6 was truly amazing.
Wow.
And I asked him, I said, how did it run? He says, runs really well. And it would have beaten the V8 Corvette because of the torque.
Right.
And that inline 6-cylinder. But I've seen a lot of Corvettes in my day, and those are a couple. Those C1s are truly amazing. And if you ever get a chance to go through one, look at it. Put your head in the window. Look under the hood. See how the suspension is built. You're going to go, wow, this is so primitive. But back in 53, that was cutting edge.
State of the art.
Yeah.
Here's a little fun fact for you. This month, February 12th, what happened in Bowling Green? Collapse of the Corvette Museum.
The sinkhole? Was that?
The sinkhole was February 12th. It happened early morning, and 8 vehicles were virtually destroyed, which are still on display.
Have you been up to the Bowling Green?
I did. I took a group of our club members. I did 8 trips in 2023. Most recent was in January 26th, where we did a dual delivery from our Corvette club. Myself and Paul Lopez, our membership director, we did a museum delivery. And that was on the 26th, and we had about 13 of us that went up there for that.
Are they still doing the museum deliveries?
Oh, yeah. They do about probably 16 a day.
Didn't they? I thought they stopped that for
the tour.
Well, they stopped the tour. They're still doing the museum deliveries, but February 5th they stopped the plant tours.
That's what it is.
And you also can't order the baby book. If you bought a new one and you wanted to order the baby book where they take pictures of the car when it's going through the assembly line, they're not doing that anymore. And they never speculated what it is. I mean, I got some ideas, some guesses what I think it might be, but that's just my personal opinion.
Espionage?
Well, I think it's because they're probably doing something with that new ZR1 that's going to come out.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of the gist.
The model changes.
Right.
Well, they built that museum on top of a cave, because in that part of Kentucky, there's a lot of caves that go for miles and miles.
Right.
And when they hit bedrock, they should have gone a little bit further because it was just a false bedrock reading, and then it went through, and the rest is history.
Now, the way they put it back together, I mean, it's going to be here when Gabriel toots his whistle. So it's.
I thought it was a horn.
Well, toots his horn. You're correct.
Whistles, horns. Yeah, it's the same
Just
family.
had to say.
Yeah.
Tony Accato, is it?
Yes, that's it.
Can you turn his microphone on,
Also
David?
known as.
Turn the microphone on.
There you go.
He's
Okay,
also
so-
known as
okay,
Big
yeah.
Tuna.
Yeah, Tuna.
Yeah, so
How did you get that name?
it's a long story, but I'll give you the short version.
Is it clean?
Yes, it's clean.
Oh, we don't want to hear about it then.
The mafia boss of Chicago for a very long time was Tony Accato, and his nickname was the Big Tuna. He also had another nickname called Joe Batters, and the reason he had Joe Batters was because that was his weapon of choice, was a baseball bat.
Oh.
So he was best friends with Al Capone, and one night they were in a restaurant, and guy came in with a machine gun and sort of mowed down the place, and Tony jumped on top of Al Capone and gave him the nickname of the Big Tuna. And then when Al went to jail, Al turned the Las Vegas over to Tony Accardo. So that's how I got the nickname.
Is your last name Accardo?
Accardo, yes.
Well, naturally, Mars would misspell it here.
Let me give you
Accardo. Right here. I'm also a veteran.
There you go.
So,
thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what kind of car do you have, Tony?
I have two. I have a 1972 blue coupe, 454, big block.
Of course you do, yeah.
That was my first Corvette. I got that in '99 in a divorce sale, and I got a real good bargain on that.
I'm sure you did.
And
what did she get?
Yeah, right. And then I talked my wife into letting me buy a 2015 C7, same color, same blue color. It's
nice.
It's called Laguna Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a coupe.
Pretty car.
I turned 40,000 miles today on that car, so I drive it a lot. I love it.
And
So
you're
it's
here
great.
locally? Or no, you're San Antonio?
We're Northwest Houston. We're in Cypress. He's down in Clear Lake.
Yeah, the opposite
I'm in
sides of town.
Cypress. Yeah.
So what car club are you?
It's called Northwest Houston Vet Rods, and unlike other Corvette clubs, we're very unique. We allow hot rods into our club. I call it the 80-20 club because 80% of our cars are Corvettes and 20% are hot rods. And the reason we do that is because many of our members own more than one type of car.
Right.
So
You're bragging.
Yeah. Well,
show off.
So one of our members has 35 cars. Okay, so that'll give you an idea of what we're talking about.
We know those guys.
Yeah, and not all of them are Corvettes.
There's one over there.
And we want to be them.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a 35 car collection.
So we're out of Cypress Spring area.
Yeah.
And we've been in business since 2004.
Very nice.
So, yeah.
Let me tell you my 454 72 coupe story.
Uh-huh.
I was working at a Chevrolet dealership called Richardson Chevrolet. Used to be at the intersection of Hillcroft and 59. And I was working in new car make ready. And so every night they'd take the Corvettes off the showroom display outside along the side of the showroom, and they'd pull them in the service department to prevent theft.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the morning, somebody had to drive them and put them back on display.
Of course they did.
Saturday mornings,
Yeah.
Don Armstrong and Ross Putnam. Take those cars out. Not a problem. Start those cars up, and our favorite one was the blue 454.
Yep.
Oh, my God. It might not have had a whole lot of horsepower for cubic inches, but by God, it had lots of torque.
Oh, yeah.
And it would boil the black tire off the back of the car.
Oh, yeah.
So when he sold the car, they had to change the back tires on it. Yeah. Needless to say, Ross and
Chisel the rubber off.
Right.
It was great stuff.
Yep.
We thoroughly enjoyed that car. You know, the one thing that stands out, this is going to be stupid, I know, but they had some fiber optic that went from the back tail lights up to the center console.
I had that in my
Yours
Nova.
work?
No. Oh, no.
They don't
put that
work.
in my Nova.
Not work.
In the back of a Cadillac, if you look in the rear view mirror, there would be two little eyes or two little red lights. When you hit it, the fiber optic would show that your lights are working, right or left. Or blinkers, it would do the same thing. I installed it in my Nova.
Of course you did.
Because my dad was a Cadillac guy, so I had all that ability.
Well, this was on the Corvette, and it came up right there in the center console. You need to get those working for me.
I have the roll-up windows in my 72.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I bought my daughter a 2007 Ford Focus. It's got roll-up windows and a 5-speed manual transmission.
Yeah.
She's lucky it's got an AM radio in it.
Yeah.
Those are the days.
Yeah.
So how do we get a hold of you guys? How about you, Tony?
We have, in the city, we have 7 Corvette clubs.
Wow.
Okay.
And he and I represent 2 of them. And if you count the Corvette club that came in from San Antonio, we actually have 5 presidents that are here today.
Today.
And what we've done, last year we decided to get together as a group. So we have a committee, or we have a presidential committee of all the Corvette club presidents. And we're planning a big event on June 30th in Friendswood, his neighborhood. So we'd like you guys to be there to do exactly what y'all are doing here today. And we're expecting anywhere from 200 to 300 Corvettes to show up for that.
So it's
going to be a very special event.
So the 5 presidents are here today.
There's 5 presidents here,
including Isn't that on Mount Rushmore?
including Tim Kirchner from San Antonio.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my suggestion. I'd like to do this. Get all 5 of you on stage here. We'll take a picture.
Sounds like a good idea.
If we can track them
I
down.
hope Tony don't break
when
the
they end the show,
camera,
we'll get
but we'll
him
give it a
up
shot.
If we can track them down. Bill's here. Bill Hoffman's here from Coach. AJ's here. I'm here. Who else is here?
Two others.
I haven't seen anybody.
Nevertheless, there's
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
We'll round them up somehow.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
You can get a hold of us through SpaceCityCorvetteClub.com.
How about you?
And I'll leave you my card.
Okay, do.
And what I'd like to tell everyone, all the Corvette owners out there, unlike the other Corvette clubs, we meet every Sunday morning on the corner of Spring Cypress and Champions Forest. And on a good day like today, we'll average anywhere from 60 to 70 cars show up, and that would be vet rods. So we might have, like I said, 80% Corvettes and 20% beautiful hot rods. We got some of the most beautiful hot rods in the city in our club.
Do y'all do any rot runs?
We do runs, yeah. We try to do a run every month. This is considered a run
Yeah,
for
of course.
us, yeah.
So next weekend, next Sunday morning from 9 to noon, there's Chrome and Coffee. Craig Bierman, that owns Speed and Sport Chrome Plating, puts it on at the Avalon Diner down at the Fountains, which is right there by Highway 90A and 59, the Southwest Freeway.
Sugarland, yeah.
Sugarland, Stafford area,
and so easy to get to down the Beltway, needless to say. And every weekend it's more and more and more and more cars. And yes, there's some later model cars, but there's a lot of older hot rods that come in. Lots of fun, lots of good guys too.
And you have breakfast at the diner too.
And breakfast at the diner.
Yeah, we have a breakfast place. We call it the Big Tree. It's a big oak tree, and that's where remember the Nifty 50s used to be at the Kroger Center.
Yeah.
Well, that's where we meet, and we've been meeting there for the last 17 years, and it's been successful. And we meet every Sunday, rain or shine, cold weather, hot weather, and if it's too rainy or too cold, we go inside and we have a good time. At Sleek Cafe, there's a place called Sleek Cafe. So
very nice.
And that's how we get our membership.
It's cool.
Perfect.
Very nice.
And we're up to about 250. Can you believe that?
Wow.
250 members.
What do you estimate vehicles here today?
Okay, so I think AJ mentioned it, but the previous record in 2022 was 115 Corvettes.
Not just yours, all the clubs.
All the clubs. Okay, so we had 170 Corvettes outside and 13 Vipers?
Yep, that's
13
correct.
Vipers.
Today.
Yeah. And plus, in the back 40, we even had 3 or 4 hot rods from my club back there. There's a 57 Chevy back there that belongs to my club.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, Doug brought 3 cars today. One guy brought 3 cars. One's driven by his granddaughter, that big wide body C3 outside, that yellow one, which is very unique. And then he brought his Corvette, and his granddaughter and his wife drove the 57 Chevy.
Nice.
Wow.
So
good. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping by today.
Well,
We
as Elvis
appreciate
would
you.
say, thank you. Thank you very
you.
much. We appreciate it, guys. Thank y'all.
You bet.
Appreciate you. All right. Is Mr. Mars here?
Yeah.
Mr. Mars,
Right
do you
behind
have auto history, or do we need to postpone that? Auto history? You said that you had auto history.
We're not
and I
gonna
made
do a break?
note right here.
We're gonna do a break?
We're going to do a break, but I need to find out whether he's going to do his thing or
Okay.
not. Because
Well,
if
we
not,
can do that after the
okay,
break.
we're going to
Sure.
Okay. No, are we all set up to do the break this time?
Yeah,
the
we're going
right
to do
way?
the right one, which is
All
number
right.
3, correct?
All right. Whatever you say.
Whatever.
All right. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this.
Pro-Am Auto Accessories has been serving Houston's auto enthusiasts since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am is known as the place to go to find exclusive and hard-to-find parts and accessories. Pro-Am is one of the very first distributors in the USA for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier retail and service corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse, showroom, and installation bays. Pro-Am not only sells parts and accessories, but also offers installation and service. Pro-Am is now reaching a worldwide audience through Pro-Am.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. At Pro-Am Auto, you'll be dealing with a small group of professionals who truly want to help you with your automotive needs. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. Want to feel good about something special you did for someone special? In Wheel Time and the original Lupe Tortilla group of Tex-Mex restaurants have joined together to help a very worthy cause, God's Garage, a Christian-based 501c3 charity. We know there are lots of places and organizations out there where you can donate a car, truck, or SUV, but we're asking you, our car enthusiast family, to consider donating to God's Garage. Visit godsgarage.org and learn about its mission, the women that have been helped, how each one is screened, and about their Restore You program. A car donation is an easy way to make a difference in the lives of others. God's Garage needs good operating vehicles, but will take all types in working and non-working condition. Make your heart and soul feel good by donating your gently used vehicle and help support single mothers, widows, and wives of deployed military at godsgarage.org.
Hey, you're on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Thanks for riding with us today. Time now for This Week in Auto History, Mr. Mars.
Okay. As soon as I turn it on, it is.
You need to stop. He needs to take that away from him.
I'm going
to got a microphone switch over there, and he turns it off.
And forgets to turn it on.
I thought you wanted it off.
That's when he wants it off, he wants it off.
All right, Mars, go ahead.
Yeah. So this week in auto history, found 5 things that I thought were very interesting. This week in auto history, 1917, Glenn Curtiss designed an aluminum autoplane. Had 3 wings spanning 40 feet. The car's engine actually drove a propeller at the rear of the car. And while it didn't actually fly, it did a bunch of hops, but it's considered the first flying car.
God. Ooh. Yeah, I could see you in that thing.
1909, Hudson Motor Car Company was founded. In 1910, a total of 4,500 Hudson automobiles left the assembly line, which was a record for all automakers that year. The Hudson name saw its last car come off the assembly line in 1957. When Chevrolet rolled out the Corvette prototype in January 1953, less than a month later, Ford suddenly came up with a Thunderbird prototype. In its first year, it sold 16,155 units, which outsold the Corvette that year. And the Thunderbird lasted through 11 generations, ended production in 2005. Its main claim to fame was it made the Corvette get better. February 1959, the High Bank 2.5-mile Daytona International Speedway hosts the first Daytona 500. 41,000 fans attended the inaugural event, and the winner was not decided until 61 hours after the race ended because it was the photo finish. They had to develop the film so that they could look at it and see who won.
To get the photo, Matt.
And lastly, the aerodynamic Plymouth Superbird, while we're at the Daytona 500, ran in February of 1970. The number 40 car, driven by Pete Hamilton for Petty Enterprises, crossed the finish line a full 3 car lengths ahead of the number 2 car, which immediately got people looking at how to disqualify it and keep it from running anymore.
Mm-hmm. And they did.
And they did. And that's this week in auto history.
Thank you, sir. We'd love to hear from you. Just shoot us an email. The address here, info@inwheeltime.com. As Scout Motors barrels toward revealing its initial electric SUV and pickup this summer, an overtly retro design does not seem likely, according to the startup brand's chief. While the company is embracing fully the heritage of International Harvester's Scout vehicles, CEO Scott Keogh said he doesn't want to be trapped in the 1970s when it comes to styling. Who do you think you are? International Harvester's first Scout, one of the industry's initial SUVs, rolled off the line at the company's Fort Wayne, Indiana plant in November 1960. International built its last SUV wearing the Scout II nameplate in October 1980. The name then went dormant outside of enthusiast communities, collectors, and off-roaders. Keogh said Scout intends to show the 2 vehicles at the same time. Both will ride on a new body-on-frame platform that executives insist is unique to the brand. Oh, boy. We got us another SUV coming that looks like all the rest. Can't wait.
Put more seats in it.
Time now for a quick break. You're on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show, streaming and podcasting around the planet. Look for us on your favorite podcast provider.
The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupe Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupe Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupe Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupe Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupe's. It's located just off I-10 of the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggie Land? Head to the Lupe Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupe Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.